Welcome to the Habits to Goals podcast with Martin Grunburg. It's time to take control of your life. Are you ready to achieve goals faster and more consistently than ever before? You need the Habit Factor. You're listening to Habits to Goals, the podcast that helps you create the habits that lead to success. And here is Martin Grunburg.
Alrighty, here we go. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Martin Grunburg. You have reached Habits to Goals, which is the only podcast that is consistently reminding you, of course, based on the ideas in the Habit Factor, that when you align and craft intentionally habits to your goals, you achieve them more quickly. The analogy we like to use is putting the wind at our back or sailing, and it's called running with the wind. Rather than working from a to-do list, focus on core recurring behaviors that support your goal. When you hit subscribe right now, you will get your Mind Bullet Monday, your Wednesday interview, and your Frequently Asked Friday. So enough of the open. So today's episode is not an interview. After now having a couple postpone and push back their interview dates, we are going to roll with it rather than panic. It's a great opportunity, I have realized, to talk about what was going to be an MBM. And we're going to use this Wednesday's slot for that. So if you're looking for an interview, stay tuned. In a way, there's an interview here. There's definitely some gems, and I'm really eager to talk about this. So this could be longer than your typical MBM, Mind Bullet Monday. If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, typically, and when you subscribe, you get your Mind Bullet Monday, your Wednesday interview, and your Frequently Asked Friday. You may have heard that in the open. Having said that, today is a Wednesday, and again, because a couple interviews have been pushed out, it has created an opening. So having said that, today we are talking about this idea. It's rooted, and you've heard me mention this before, but I really took it to heart. And I've said this probably thousands of times, that I will come across a quote and then chew on it, meditate, sleep on it, and just let it marinate. And something funky happens. Sometimes it's right away. Sometimes it's months after. I saw this quote years ago, and it just made so much sense at the end of 2017. And the quote is this, and it's from the great American essayist Ralph Waldo Emerson. All life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. So at first, that may seem a little innocuous. Let's start at the end of 2017. I started a little experiment of my own, and it was a challenge to lower my body fat, to become more healthy. So I had this history based on doing prior Ironman triathlons of randomly going to, and it was not really planned, but going to something known as a dunk tank. It's basically you submerge yourself in water, and it's the most accurate way to measure your body fat. So I had a few years worth of history, and in 2017, it was somewhere in the 16+%. So some people may be saying, wow, you're really fat. Other people may be saying, wow, that's semi-amazing. it doesn't really matter where you fall on the scale. It's just probably worth listening to the story. So with the goal of trending down the body fat percent and this idea of all life being an experiment, I decided that I was going to be very conscientious about tracking a few behaviors, a few habits. So, for instance, limiting carb intake. I would actually add some supplement to my coffee. This gets a little it gets a little complex. It's worth looking up, always with the disclaimer that anytime you're modifying, tweaking your diet, you're supposed to check with your doctor. But based on some research and talking to a few people, I began to experiment with making my coffee in the morning and my tea fattier. And the basis behind that, the theory behind that is when you're waking up, and normally people will eat breakfast, breaking a fast, if you feed your body more fats, and again, I'm no doctor, you want to verify this, but my experience has proved this out, that by giving it fats like coconut oils and butter, certain kind of organic butter in my coffee, it forces the body to then burn the fat. So all life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. And I began to not only track on the Habit Factor app, but I created a Google spreadsheet. And I called the spreadsheet The Path to 178. And at the time, I was upwards of 187. So I was debating of cracking this journal, but I'll wait for that. So that experiment, the goal of body fat percentage, breaking it down, reducing it. And I also added something, this is where you want to be careful too. I think it's a fantastic tip. It's called psyllium husk. Now again, go very slow here. I've multiple friends I've recommended it to. They love it. A couple have had some problems. And it usually is the result of not drinking enough water. It is basically hardcore fiber. It's like eating or drinking cardboard, and it goes in your intestines and expands and then takes everything along with it. So combination of health, diet, experiments, all for the greater goal of reducing body fat. In addition to that, I started doing certain sprints and cycle workouts. So what am I getting at here? This isn't just to be talking about me and my experiment, but it is to talk about the concept of documentation and working with going about your life as an experiment. So that leads me to, I got so excited about my results, and I will tell you, my last weigh-in, my last dunk tank, I was at 13% even, and I actually think I was slightly under. So I'm trending. I'm hoping to be in the low 12s, and if I get below that, that'll be a small miracle. The reason 13 was significant is my history showed that among the lowest scores I had, in 05 I was 12.5%, but 06 I was at 14%. So 12 years later, we're now in 2018, I am a percent lower, and I increased my lean mass the muscle mass. So it's semi-exciting from the standpoint to be, in theory, on paper, healthier at 50 than 38. I was telling a buddy I used to eat anything I wanted, whenever I wanted, as much as I wanted. And that's just simply not the case now. But it's been fun to experiment. So that is just one experiment. Then I started experimenting more with physical exercise, like I said, cycles, pull-ups. The point is, there's great value in viewing your life as an experiment and tracking your behaviors, which you already know because chances are very good you're using the Habit Factor app. But hang on. Then, I think most of you know, I've been raving about my meditation practice and how I've really cranked up the time. I'm averaging upwards of an hour a day. That is an experiment. And so I just got so excited on the heels of all, the ideas behind the Habit Factor and the tracking, but I couldn't shake this theme and this message. And so I wanted to share it with our audience. And what I did at the end of 2017 was start working with a company to develop the HabitXP Journal / Planner. So I've just pulled that out and I have it right here, and it's pretty sweet. It's faux leather. It says HabitXP on the cover. What sets it apart, there are so many things that make it different than really any other planner. I'm a huge Moleskine guy. I have been for 15 plus years, long before they totally blew up and became popular, but that's a different story. So it starts with, you open it up and you get that great Emerson quote. Then there is a gifting page, so you could buy this for any of your goal-minded, habit-minded friends or family. And it allows you to dedicate the book. Then there's, and I'm just going to talk you through it because it's right here and I think it's totally relevant. There's a bucket list section. There is a vision section. So out of all the journals I've ever had, I've never seen one. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I've just never seen one with a place for vision, mission, and values. It's just fantastic for documenting that. Creating your ideal life, more vision, then some adding mantras if you are so inclined. Several pages for that. Then you have an analysis of your strengths and weaknesses. There is a passion and purpose, a life balance wheel, my goodness, gratitude lists. There is a goals and habits section, of course, controls and constraints, and habit tracking. And there will be screenshots of this and a link from the show notes. You can see it. We've just kind of rolled out a beta shop. It's the first product in the shop. It's called the HabitXP Journal. And there is this fantastic habit experiment right almost in the center of the journal. And it talks about, it walks you through as though you were a scientist. Remember, there is no failure. Failure is just information helping you to adjust your practices. Right? So failure is just feedback, and that's how scientists look at any experiment that fails. It's just the information they needed to adjust. So as I open this up, it says observation. My wife said, I have observed that and then you get to fill it in. So the reason I'm laughing, I have observed that I am fat. Hypothesis. Based on this observation, I believe that I developed this new habit, blank, I will experience the following, blank, blank. Then step 3 is the behavior tract. It gives you a section to add the behaviors, habits tract. And for each of these, you track for 1 week following the habit factors PAR methodology. Plan, act, record, and reassess. If you don't know what that is, look in the show notes or just text 33444, 33444, the word habits, HABITS, and you'll get the template right away, and there's an instructional video. So observation, hypothesis, behavior tract, results. You document your results, and then the 5th step is the reward. So you have a few habit experiment sheets, which is beautiful. Then you have your daily, weekly execution and orchestration. So you have your weekly productivity funnel, your most important tasks per day. It's really a different journal than anything I've seen. We took a lot of time putting it together, and we're getting great feedback. So all life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. There is certainly no requirement or even need to get the journal. It just so happens, if I'm going to talk about Emerson's quote and my experiments, there's really no reason not to talk about the HabitXP Journal. Having said all that, I got to remember, I think we created a coupon code. I'm just trying to remember what it is. For this show specifically, if you go to, it's shop.thehabitfactor.com, or you can find it off the Habit Factor. As you're checking out, there is a coupon code, and I'm racking my brain. I can't give you wrong info. I'm going to have to come back and record that. And here it is. All right. It's H2G, Habits to Goals. So it's H2G free. H2G, H number 2, G, free. H number 2, G, free. That will get you $10 off instantly, and that is good through, I think, June. So it's good as long as it's working. $10 off, which is essentially free shipping. So you get free shipping, free shipping, free. You get free shipping for just punching in H2G free. And I believe that's only for continental U.S. I'm just trying to think if we even have shipping set up for international. If you have any questions, any issues, you can always email sales@equilibrium, equilibrium-ent.com. sales@equilibrium-ent.com, and you can just ask questions if there's any questions related to the journal, purchasing it, etc. And there's a good chance by the time this airs, our Hit Me With Your GTR t-shirts are going to be in the store as well. Those have been very, very popular. So it's a sweet shirt. Hit Me With Your GTR. Great conversation starter. People have no idea what the heck that means. So there you go. All life is an experiment. The more experiments you make, the better. Think about what your next experiment is. It could be about saving money. It could be about budgeting. It could be about losing weight. It could be about reading more. It can be about creating things, inventing stuff. Whatever it is, the HabitXP Journal just might help you get there. Honestly, I'm torn between the vision, mission, values section, because having it in a journal, again, unlike any other journal, it's something you can read, revisit over and over and over. Plus, you have the ideal future exercise in there. And it's just, these are the types of things you want to ingrain in your subconscious by constant, repeated use. So between that and the all life is an experiment, you have a very complete little package in this journal. Again, H2G free, and you get $10 off. Get after it. Let me know what your experiment is. I can't wait to hear about it. And again, any questions, shoot us an email. Looking forward to hearing about your experiment. Have a great day. See ya. Hey, really quick, I just want to remind you, if you want to grab your habits and goals tracking template, the template that started it all, you can get that really quickly. Just text me at 33444 and simply text the word habits. That is habits, HABITS, to 33444, and you will get the tracking template immediately. All right. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Thanks for dropping a quick review. It'll take you less than 30 seconds if you're getting value. And with that, I will see you on the next Mind Bullet Monday. I'm out.